You are now listening to the Highlight Reel Builder for Authors, the Going North podcast. I'm your host, certified self-leadership trainer and author of the best-selling book, Stay the Course, Dom Brightman. And you're going to be getting some goodies today from the guest that's up next. Today's episode is sponsored by book number 2 from Dom Brightman, Stay the Course, The Elite Performer's 7 Secret Keys to Sustainable Success. It is the field guide to help unleash the elite performer that is inside of you. Cop it today on Amazon.com or heading over to dombrightman.com and snag it in book, ebook, and audiobook, so that way you can take it on the go and get yourself on the go to your northbound success. And today on the Highlight Reel Builder for Authors, known as GMP, the Great, Glorious, and Glamorous, we got another super special, awesome human for you today. Another bonus episode from the Fourfold Formula, y'all. That's right indeed, fourfold. That's right indeed. Origami all day today, baby. That's right indeed. Because we got another guest who decided to join the business of immortality by putting their story in this marvelous book that's thicker than a bowl of oatmeal, y'all. Because today's guest from that book has a background in neuropsychology, health coaching, and genetics, as she evaluates epigenetic blueprints to guide women who are fatigued, stressed, and not sleeping to have more energy and clarity, as well as to wake up with confidence so they can rock their day and stay woke. That's right indeed. So my goodness, so she loves to use genetics as a guide, as well to understand biological individuality to maximize their clients' results. Let's give it up for Miss RSS feed herself, the good doctor, the one and only, the radiant superstar and sensational Dr. Rachelle Simpson Sweet. How you doing today, Dr. Rachel?
I'm good. Thanks, Dom. And how about yourself?
Doing good with all the O's. That's right indeed. Doing more good than a Cheerios box. Extra good.
I hear that.
That's right indeed. That's right indeed. So my goodness, as with all introductions, they're not allowed to be 13 years long, and I only probably covered maybe 30 minutes. Am I filling in any cavities I may have missed about you, and fill us in on your backstory such as your first time on the show?
Yeah, as you mentioned, I have a background in neuropsychology. So that I kind of started in the psychology field, working in hospitals and inpatient clinics and things like that. Fascinated with the brain and how it works and when things happen to the brain, like what that looks like. Um, Even did some baseline testing with some hockey players so that if they got knocked unconscious on the ice, I could look at what their scores were and see if they could return to play, things like that. It was a very interesting chapter in my life. And then as things evolved, I looked into health coaching. I kind of like the idea of not just dealing with people who were in hospital and really facing some obstacles, but just people who every day were struggling with, different health issues and kind of more on the wellness kind of things. And that's how I got into health coaching and the epigenetics. I really became interested in that a couple years ago, just really from my own self-discovery. I mean, that's part of what the story in the book is about, like me going through all these these different crazy things on my own journey and then using that to help others.
Oh, yes, I'm talking about indeed. That's what I'm talking about indeed. So my goodness, helping folks recover from the hockey sticks and the hockey pucks all the way to now helping folks with their health on a higher level. You love to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right indeed. That's right indeed. So my goodness, so we've gotten infatuated with the brain and studying the brain, and what helped you to finally make the connection between, I guess, the brain health and the gut health in a way with comes to the weight.
Yeah, so, for me, I mean, that's what like I said, this story is about kind of my lifelong struggle with weight, as my parents would call it, the battle of the bulge. And yeah, the Battle of the Bulge. And it started at a young age, and I've through my own exploration of my genetics, I've realized that um, probably around 18 months, I was first given chocolate, and kind of been addicted it to sugar and lovely things like that ever since. And I think that has activated a genetic markers within me. And other people I know that I've worked with struggle with this also. But it's really is a connection between, kind of how you think about things, like how things hormones and chemicals in your body drive the brain and the thoughts, and then, how you work with that. And there is that connection between weight and psychology for sure.
Oh yeah, yes indeed. It was actually interesting reading that part of your story in the book, where just a wee little tot and you got to be at grandma's house. She gave you chocolate so early.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I was nanny the plate, and she used to give me the plate of chocolate buttons, little chocolate pieces. And yeah, I mean, I don't think that anybody, back then thought there was, any harm in that. But having now knowing like what my genetic code is, and having uh the marker for the sugar addiction gene, and just the marker for having the propensity to have excess weight, that kind of started things and kicked things off. And yeah, I struggled most of my life with being overweight, and it came to a point where, I tried all the bad diets, crazy things. I mean, shakes, potions, magic spells. And one day I just said, okay, this there's got to be something else. And I just had this kind of realization, and when we talk about the psychology of it, that I really needed to focus on it differently. It wasn't just about losing weight, it's about being healthy. How could I be healthy? And, that weight loss would be a byproduct of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Indeed. Yes, indeed, the yo-yo, the mighty yo-yo. We love it as kids, but hate it as grown-ups when it comes to diets. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. So my goodness, so do you still love chocolate to this day?
Of course I do. I don't think that's ever gonna change. I do love chocolate, and usually I try and find some, kind of free version of it now to just kind of satisfy that taste every now and again, just to satisfy what I call my sugar tooth gene. But yeah, I mean, I think is always gonna be there, and I think for most people, you're not gonna get rid of those. If you're like me and you've had these kind of cravings, and they've kind of kicked off these epigenetics that are now kind of programming you in a certain way, if you like, you can change those and turn them down, but it is an active process, and you do have to make those decisions consciously. And so, yeah, of course, there's going to be days when you're like, yeah, I just want that chocolate.
That's right indeed. The chocolate gets spread everywhere, y'all. That's right indeed. There's no escape. That's right indeed. No escape. From Hershey to Godiva to Lindor, there's no escape. That's right indeed.
Those are all good, especially the Godiva.
Oh yeah, that's right indeed. That's right indeed. So my goodness, so in addition to chocolate gold, I'm pretty sure a gold mine of the past couple of years where folks were dealing with the COVID-21, folks found their way to. So how was it like during the pandemic where a lot of folks had to basically forced to become turtles and stay inside and probably gained a bunch of weight from looking at food too much?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, that definitely, the sedentary, I think a lot of people, not going out as much, obviously, sitting a lot, watching, what is it, Netflix and chill, right? I definitely think that that contributed to, I don't know, COVID-20 maybe. And, I think also just the fact that you could literally have food delivered to your door at like any time between grocery stores and restaurants. Obviously they were still trying to make the money on their, by getting their food to us as consumers. And it would just made it so much easier to go online and just say, "Oh, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that," and it was at our fingertips. It still is, and that with not moving too much, not going outside a lot, I think that contributed to a lot of the weight gain. But one of the interesting things that it just kind of struck my brain as I was thinking about it now was I read a article where there was a huge jump in pediatric diabetes during COVID because of, kind of more kids eating more junk food, more cereals laden with sugar and things like that, that there was a huge jump in kids with diabetes over COVID.
Yeah, huge shame, ain't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that we have to look out for, that, that food manufacturers, I mean, it's part of this is in the book. I think it's the first little bit that you read. They just package food in a way that just makes it super palatable for us. It's super exciting. And for kids, it's got like nice little characters and things on the packages. And I think it just makes it so appealing. And it's really, they have used psychology, if you like, against us to make it so appealing to us that, we can't resist in a lot of cases. So, and then, people just don't realize sometimes how much hidden sugars and ingredients are in the foods that they eat.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I've heard countless times where folks be like, I'm gonna quit sugar forever. And they look at all the darn nutritional labels, like, oh, sugar is freaking everywhere.
It,
Like, my God, like
it
what the
is.
heck?
Yeah, it is. Like you start, I know, that was for me when I started really looking at nutrition labels, and it's like, well, what am I going to eat? And as a fellow coach actually of mine says, real food, fruits, vegetables, those kind of things. So, yeah. Yeah, it's become very convenient, like to just kind of buy stuff in packages, but I think we really do have to try and visit our farmers markets and kind of get back to real things. Like, if the way I look at it, if God didn't make it, man made it, then it's gonna probably you want to think twice about eating it, right?
Oh yeah, I can say that again, especially that darn food that's genetically modified to last forever. Like, dude, like that's sounds unhealthy enough as it is. Like, if it's lasting forever, what is it? Plastic? What think you put in this
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. It's crazy. Like I remember when they first started doing the genetically modified foods, and I remember they were talking about it. I would say tomato, you would say tomato. And they said, "Oh yeah, it's resistant to bugs and they won't eat it." And I'm like, "Well, if the bugs don't want to eat it, I definitely don't want to eat it." I mean, it can't be that good if they don't want it, right?
That's true, because it's like, man, ain't a bug on this thing at all. I don't want to partake. Well, I guess I shouldn't partake either. You know what? I should partake. It's mild. Like, darn illnesses showed up. No, it was a trap. It was a setup for the get up. So, my goodness, my goodness. So, with all of your experience, with all your studies, and being able to be the example of, hey, like, hey, you too can get on the other side of a yo yo diet for good. So, my goodness, you decided to put pen to paper and put this story into books. So, my goodness, what was the most difficult thing about writing this story? Heck, even probably even choosing which story to add to the book.
Writing it, yeah. When the publisher suggested I should write a story, I was like, "Well, I'm not a writer. I don't write." I've written scientific things before, but certainly not a story. And so, yeah, I mean, of course, at first I was kind of like, "Well, what am I going to talk about?" But they said it will, pick a story that is near and dear to you. Like, what is it that you've struggled with that you now help other people with? And really that is, kind of coming to terms with the insanity that is dieting and weight loss. There's so much craziness out there and misinformation and, weird diets that people do. And in a lot of respects, if we're on that, as you said, the yo-yo dieting train, we actually do ourselves more harm than good. And every time that you do a diet, you're lowering your resting metabolic rate, for a while. So that it just gets harder and harder to lose weight. And I think that, for me, that I certainly had that story, and since and working with people with their genetic blueprints, I see that a lot of times people are eating against their genetic blueprint. So, they should be doing, more carbohydrates and less protein, and yet here they are doing like, kind of an Atkins diet or something like that, where they're eating lots of protein and hardly any carbs, and that their genetic blueprint says completely the opposite for their body. So it's really about, honoring like what your body wants rather than like what's the latest craze.
Powerful indeed. Honoring what your body wants, y'all. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. Give it what it wants. Give it what it truly needs. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. If your mind says, hey, have a whole bag of sugar, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, yeah, we don't always want to listen to what our brain wants to say. I mean, really, what we're looking at when we look at a genetic blueprint, you're really looking at how is your from your man, coming from your ancestors when you were born, how your body was designed to thrive. And each of us has that, and each of us is unique. In fact, if you look at the genetics for obesity, there's like 900 different variations in how those genes manifest. So, if you took 1,000 people, each of them, almost every single one of them would not have the same diet. So this idea that one size fits all just is not true.
Wow, that's freaking cool right there. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, my goodness. So, with all of that, I guess, since not all diets, not all folks are made equal genetically, has there been any major commonality that you've noticed at all with all your research?
Well, like I said, a lot of times people are not eating, and sometimes not even exercising the way that their body has been set up genetically. So we look at several different things. We look at sleep, and we look at nutrition, environmental toxins, and things like that, how that affects your body. We look at athletics, hormones, because all of it plays a role in your genetic blueprint and how it is expressed to the world right now. And a lot of times people, like I said, are kind of doing things that are not in line with their genetics. I'm a part of a group of coaches, and we sometimes meet and discuss clients to kind of put our brains together if there's a something that we want to figure out. And it's one of the things that comes up a lot, that people are just not honoring what their body wants. And I think that um it's just, we all have this gift of having this blueprint that we can now access through technology and research. And by doing that, we can really then start a way forward. And it's one of the things that clients say to me all the time. It's like, wow, I feel like I have a plan now, a way to start and have more clarity.
Oh, yeah, that's right indeed. So much clarity, helping them to see with all five eyes. That's what I'm talking about. Indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. So, my goodness, you mentioned exercise, and I believe, do you still do the hiking every weekend?
Yeah, if I can get out, I actually got into kayaking this summer, so I did a little bit more kayaking towards the end of the summer, because I just love to be out on the water. But yeah, I still love to go out walking, hiking as much as I can, and go. I live in north of America, so I'm lucky to live near some beautiful places to go hiking.
Ah, that's what I'm talking about. Indeed. That's right. Literally going north, baby. You love to see it. That's right, indeed. That's right,
Yes.
indeed. That's right,
Yeah.
indeed. That Canada swag. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. So, any other parts of your routine that you mind sharing with others that have helped you to finally get off the yo-yo evilness?
Yeah, so I mean really it's like I said, kind of making sure my food choices are, more real food, real fruits and vegetables, really looking at nutrition labels, making sure that there isn't a lot of added ingredients or things that don't work for me. I mean, like I said, everybody's profile is different, but there's a lot of chemicals and flavoring that is added to food to make it sometimes even more addictive to us. Like, so, we crave it more. So it's really about reducing the packaged foods down. So, I think a lot of people say like, hey, 80% real food and then 20%, have uh some things that you like because obviously we still want to enjoy ourselves. But then for me, exercising has always been sometimes, it's you don't want to go to the gym if you feel uncomfortable or things like that. So for me, it was about moving, getting out, and even if it's just going for a nice brisk walk, on the weekends, making that time to go out and hike. I do go to the gym also. I've made that priority, but early on, when I was larger, it wasn't possible to do that. So it's really just every day making those healthier choices. And then, just making sure that if I'm whatever I'm eating, as far as energy wise, if calorie wise, I'm not exceeding like what I'm putting out in energy to, as far as exercise and movement. So it really does come down to a little bit of a math equation there, but also really eating mostly natural foods with little processing and hidden ingredients.
Ah, that's what I'm talking about. Well, avoid the packages, y'all. That's right, indeed. That's right,
And
indeed.
there's a lot more, right? I go into depth with it in coaching and of, and really based uniquely on what is would work for you. I mean, obviously I have experience with my own, but working with clients, like I said, they're going to be different. Each client is individual and I have to meet the clients where they are and what they're willing to do. But I do have one thing that I like to say, and that's 7,000 steps 7 days a week. So that's what I aim for, just as a minimum, and then do some exercise on top of that. And I think in the beginning, if you're not walking, a lot of people aren't walking 7,000 steps if they're sitting in an office or they're sedentary most of the time during the day. They're probably only getting 3, 4,000 steps. So if they can increase that by a few steps every day until they can get to 7, it will make a big impact on their health for sure.
Woohoo! There we go. That's right, indeed. Lucky sevens all day, baby. That's right, indeed. 7,000 steps 7 days a week, y'all. That's right, indeed. 7,000. Get all the thousands in you. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. So my goodness, so with coaching and having clients sometimes help the coaches become better coaches. So what would you consider one of the greatest lessons you learned from coaching one of your clients?
What a great question. I think that it's really about trying to think of how to put it. I think that each person brings like a different dynamic to the coaching, and sometimes you can learn from that interaction about yourself as much as you can learn about them, which I think is interesting.
Ah, there you go. That's right indeed. That mirror swag indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. So my goodness, so since this isn't your first rodeo in terms of being interviewed, is there a question that you wish you'd be asked more often when you're on these podcasts?
Hmm. Um, no, I don't think so. I mean, I think you asked some really good questions. I don't think so, Dom. I think this good.
Ah, there we go. Well, the neighbors are happy. It's good. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. You heard that right, folks. Say hello to the neighbors. So my goodness, so we're coming down to the magical question. We love them to pop on, folks. These past 100 plus interviews. So this wonderful book, The Fourfold Formula for All Things Wellness. If it was a food, what would it be and why?
The book, if it was a food?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess it would be an apple. I think if something healthy, because obviously that's what the book is based on, and different areas of health. I mean, it's not just about your body. There's things about stories of love in there, or relationships that are not so healthy. But yeah, I mean, an apple seems good, right? Because it keeps the doctor away. So I think any of the stories that you could read, and if you get inspired or have a thought of, from any of them, it's going to really help you move forward if you can relate to it for sure.
Ah, there we go, folks. Love to relate indeed. That's right indeed. So you know what that means, folks. She called it an apple. So that means she's apple proof, y'all. That's right indeed. She's apple proof. That's right. She's still gonna show up anyway. You can have a whole darn forest of apple trees. She's still there, baby. That's right indeed. She's apple proof. That's right indeed. R.I.P. to Steve Jobs. She's apple proof. That's right indeed.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't think about the computer. But it's a fascinating book, and there is a whole series coming out, so I think that will be really awesome because it'll continue on with the theme. But there's so many interesting stories in the book from people from all different walks of life, that I think it's really good, and you can just pick it up and read a few pages and then put it down. It's not I think you can, any time you have a moment to read a story, it can be done, because it's just, like I said, just a short little short bursts in each chapter of insight into someone's life.
Yeah, that's right indeed. Those insights indeed. That's right indeed. So new insight for folks listening. If you're a doctor listening to the show, wear a t-shirt that says Apple. I'm Apple proof. I'm telling you. Rock it when you see your patients. I'm telling you. The smart ones will get it. Woo! That social media post is now gonna happen. It's now put in ethers. That's right indeed. And maybe Dr. Rachel
You're
might
gonna
do it.
see
Who knows?
hashtag Apple proof.
Yeah. Now I'm
I
tempted to make
mean,
that the episode title.
yeah, yeah, hashtag Apple proof. I mean, the thing is, like, if we can, depending, wherever you are with your health, a lot of times we think we're stuck there, that it won't get any better. But the truth is, there are ways to make it better, um and not invite the doctor to see you so much, right? And I think that's the point of Peggy putting this book together, is how can we move towards wellness, not just um you know a lot of people call kind of our modern medicine, what we have like sick care, right? And it's really about maintaining where we are in a lot of cases. So this is about wellness. How can we be more well? And I know the second book is about winning the war on that. And so that really is going to be Apple proof.
That's what I'm talking about indeed. That's what I'm talking about indeed. Sweet. Woohoo! Well, been loving the answers to this question so far. So we've got pizza, we got apples. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. So coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive, and that is if you're to wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but you're still in the current year of 2022, what advice would you give to yourself?
Mm, definitely to get out more and enjoy nature and see the world.
Ah, there you go, folks. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. She helps women to get woke for a reason. See the world, y'all. That's right indeed. Wake up and
Oh
see the
yeah.
world indeed. That's right indeed.
I think there's no um I mean going to see how other cultures live or how other societies, you know, live and work with food and exercise and, how that functions is so interesting. Um, and so, yeah, I definitely learning more about that. And, there's a lot of benefits for being outside in the sunshine and in the forest. So I would definitely do that more.
Woohoo! That's what I'm talking about indeed. That's what I'm talking about indeed. Well, sweet. Well, folks don't just need to see the world, they need to see your world as well and put themselves in it. So, for those who need to keep up with your journey and maybe even be on the lookout for a solo Dr. Rachel book and keep up with more stuff, what's the best way for folks to do so?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely on Facebook and Instagram, but I also have my website, drrachelsweet.com, so people can contact me there and see what I'm doing there. Um, and certainly drop me an email. I'm happy to talk with anybody and see if there's a way that we can work together. And even if it's just you've got questions, I'm happy to try and assist you if I can.
Woohoo! Sir, that right, folks, for a sweet, healthy life. Contact Dr. Sweet indeed. That's right indeed. She's got a whole lot of can do, y'all. That's right indeed. She's got more can do than Mountain Dew. You love to see
No Mountain Dew. No sodas. I gave those up a long time ago.
That's right indeed. She does not believe in being rickrolled, y'all. She gave it up. That's right indeed. Although with these dad jokes, I want an egg roll.
Oh man. I heard a good dad joke that you reminded me of, and it was like, what's the similarities, I think it is, between dad jokes and zombies? There's a lot of groaners. These are definitely groaners.
There you go. Another t-shirt idea. Be grown worthy.
Sounds like you're filling out your merch shop here.
Oh yeah, that's right indeed. Especially with folks on their smartphones in zombie mode. It's like, hey, get a good dad joke and they grow and it's like, all right, cool, a double win. They are now with the zombies for real now. Oh man. Well, before any more rabbit holes appear and I jump in, many parting words before we close up shop.
Yeah, I really appreciate you inviting me on the podcast. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope that people who've been listening, get something out of it and check out the book for full formula. And if you're interested in contacting me, please do. I'm happy to talk to anybody.
Thanks a bunch for tuning in and setting aside some of your time to listen to this wonderful podcast, Going North. If you really enjoyed what you heard, do me a solid and share this with your network and someone that you care about that would get something out of it too. And be sure to subscribe to hear more, and heck, even check out the backlog if you would like, because there are hundreds of episodes to choose from, and they just keep getting better and not butter.